everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amy. Today I'm going to show you how I do a really cute little quick video on painting flowers on a clear glass bottle. I have washed this with soap and water and cleaned it off with rubbing alcohol, so it's ready to go. The paintbrushes I'm using today are Amagic paintbrushes. I am using a 10, an 8, a 6, and a 0. I am using a number 2 Deerfoot Stippler and a dotting stylus. All of my products are listed underneath the video. If you want to purchase from that, I do have affiliate links listed. I'm using Calypso Sky, Fresh Foliage, Thicket, Burnt Sienna, Aqua, Wicker White, and Yellow Ochre. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started on the flower blooms. I'm going to be using the Aqua and the Calypso Blue and the white, but I'm going to start off by just loading my brush. I like to just dip my sides in and do the blending strokes. And then I honestly, once I get painting, I just will keep adding paint as I go, whatever I need. And I'm going to do this kind of as spaced out flowers. I will just be doing the front of the bottle for now, just for the video. I do actually sell these bottles and do the design all the way around the bottle, not just the front, but for the purpose of the video, I just do the front. Alright, so main thing you want to do is just make sure that you have good opaque coverage. And that's where you just have to really learn how to obtain that. And by that I mean, like say, by the way you load your brush, make sure you have a lot of paint in your brush. You can go back over your design if you feel like it didn't cover as well. I like my paint though to be very opaque. You can give it some dry time if you want and then go back over it if you feel the need, or you can use a hair dryer, heat gun, thing like that to go ahead and do just some quick drying on your design so that maybe you can go back over it again before you finish. And if you see like there's little spots that are open, you can just kind of touch them. That wasn't a good example, but you can touch them up a little bit if you need to. Just kind of lightly tap just to make sure you've got good coverage of your design. Now what I'm going to do here is just kind of, might end up with just 3 on here just because of the size of the bottle. But whenever you're doing like a wiggly pattern, you just got to understand too that that can cause you to pull off some of the paint as you're wiggling and pulling back. So that's when I say, and just make sure that you see that you have covered it nicely. And then continue on. Now this design that I'm doing, you don't have to completely cover up the center, but you can if you're able to. You can do it. And I'm going to be tapping the center in, so that's why I say you can leave a little hole if you want or cover it up completely, that's fine. If you go back over it just lightly and then just kind of pull it back, maybe even do a little thing like that. Alright, and I'm going to do one more because I like to work in 3s. Okay, come back over here. Just very easy, very simple design. And I like to provide simple designs just so that anybody who is a beginner painter will get the feel that they can actually paint. If you can hold a paintbrush, you can actually paint. And that's what I'm trying to provide here. Now on this one, I'm just kind of doing separate flowers, and I'm going to do some leaves around them without like an actual vine or branch that they're coming off of. Alright, so we have 3 on there. Again, I will continue around the bottle, but not in the video. The next step I'm going to do is to load my brush, and this is the next size down. Load it with the greens. Again, you can do your blending strokes back and forth. Now with this one, I could do it where I'm going to pull in some green from here, blend it, come back over here and blend in. You can do it either way. I'm just, because of the way I paint, sticking them in both sides is fine with me. A lot of times we'll give it some white or give it another color. Sometimes my leaves have 3 or 4 colors in them. It's just how I roll. Alright, so on this one, I'm going to do my favorite ones where I'm just kind of making them go in and out. Let me do this a little bit better here. Go over it again. Push down my, just wiggle. I like to not only have different colors, but I like to rotate what side the color's on. This side has a darker green, the lighter green, or you can have both sides have the same color. You can rotate those. And by that I mean, okay, like on this one, I'm going to have it like that. And actually I didn't put any white in it. So I am actually coming out with a darker color, pulling it down, and then I'll bring a little stem through it like that. So I have light, dark, different shades. To me, this gives it more interest. Even if I'm using the same or similar style of leaf, it will give it the interest that I want it to have, because I'm doing that without actually having to create something different. On this one, I'm going to do both sides with having the light on the outside. Do a little stem down. See, very easy. And then maybe add some white into this one. And do light. Making sure I'm on the screen still. And they don't all have to be the same shape. I kind of like to give them different shapes. I'm going to come out here, go like this. I try to do at least 3 leaves around the actual design. And then add, just keep adding here. Let's go like that. It gets pretty. Just a very simple, and when you put lights in this, because it's a clear bottle, it's really going to show nicely. And then I'll come over here, do one at the top. And sorry, my furnace is starting. This one's going to have all the green the dark green on the outer parts of the leaf. And you could even throw some yellow in this if you want. I could even come up here to the top of the bottle and throw a leaf up in here. This bottle has a little bit of a different shape on the top. Little bit. And this way, this is a nice way you can actually continue the leaves and flowers up the stem of the or up at the neck of the bottle if you want. Trying to get the stem in better here. Alright, let's see. I put another one over here. So make sure you can see, and I apologize. It's hard for me to see the screen because I'm actually doing this video on my camera, not my video camera. And we'll go like this. And once this dries, if you think like you need to go back over it, if by drying it actually lightened up and is a little bit more transparent than you want, feel free to go back and go over your design. Alright, I'm going to take the different stippler. I'm sticking the front part of the brush into the burnt umber, the heel into the yellow ochre. I'm going to pat it, and then I am going to come through here and add my design. Now this is where you might want to kind of play around with a little bit, but make sure you have a lot of paint on your brush because it's still wet, the flower's still wet. So that's one reason too that I waited to do this, just gave it a little bit of dry time just while talking and doing the leaves. This would be a good example of using the dryer or the heat gun to dry it some before you do this. But that's alright. I mean, you can work on it. You can work on it. You can make it work. This one I'm just tapping. Don't have enough on the heel of my brush, so I'm going to come back here and do it. Alright, you can let it sit for a few minutes if you want, or hit them again with heat. At this point, just trying to get them the way you want them. I like them to be a little bit more kind of loose. And then what I like to do is stick the tip of my brush into white and then come back in and just do a little bit of white on them. And if you do that, you feel like it's not blending in enough, you can go back over it with and some of the yellow ochre. That's why I say your centers, you can play with them a lot actually, just to get them the way you want them. When I put too much on. See, follow me, and I'm fussing with them too much probably. Okay, I'm gonna walk away from them because I can keep doing this all day. All right, then I'm gonna take my stylus. I am going to stick it into the yellow ochre, come down here, go around, and then just add my little dots. And you can pick, if you want more of a contrasting color, you know, you could do something darker, something lighter. On this one, I'm just going to turn it over and do some dots in between that are white. I'm hitting some of the yellow ones too much. It's very simple, 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 simple. If you like this video, make sure you comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Alright, dots don't have to be perfect. The last thing I'm going to do is take, well, I shouldn't say last thing, but I'm going to take this brush, just my number 6. I put it in yellow ochre. I'm going to put a little bit of white on it, just kind of blend it a little bit on my plate. And then I'm just going to come through here and add in just some basic little pole type leaves. And you can do some pulls out from the flower, from the leaves. Just make it more natural feeling. And you can just have it come out down, got into the green, I think. And just continue to pull. Whenever you're doing this, if you feel like your brush is too full of paint, just feel free to wipe your brush off. That's all you need to do. Get the excess paint off and begin again, right? Okay, let's go over here, down here. When I'm doing these, I like to, it's kind of fun to add in just some different colors for your leaves. Maybe something you wouldn't typically use, like this is a good contrast color, I think, at least. Not something that I would typically use as a leaf color. And then that kind of makes it fun because it's not something typical. Now I'm going to come up here. Hopefully you can see this. And I'm just doing, again, just some easy pulls. Just pull, flatten my brush and turn it. And this brush is kind of full. So I'm going to wipe it out a little bit. Here, add some white in it. There you go. We're almost done, guys. Thanks so much for sticking with me. Almost done. And just a little pointer before you would bake your glass. Make sure you follow whatever paint you're using. Follow the manufacturer's instructions that are on your item. The paint that I'm using is the FolkArt paint, as I mentioned earlier. It does not require baking. Some of the glass paint does actually require baking. So make sure you follow that, because you sure wouldn't want to be handling something, especially if it's a drink glass, and have the paint come off while the person's holding it, which I have had that happen to people before, because they weren't using the right kind of paint, or they didn't follow the instructions. So you don't want that to happen. Anyways, make sure you place your glass in a cold oven, then start it and preheat it. Once it's preheated, add the preheat time to your bake time, which for FolkArt paint it's 30 minutes. Once it's done, turn the oven off, allow it to cool. And I really can't tell you the exact time frame. I would say at least maybe a couple hours, hour or two, and check it and see. You just don't want any drastic change in temperature. That's what causes the glass to break. All right, if you have any questions, like I mentioned, put them down below. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, share this video on your social network with all your family and friends. Hope you like this design. Easy. Let me know if you try it. I'd love to see your work. And until the next time, please stay safe and healthy, and you have a good one.